The job market has been seriously impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, with the annual changes in graduate vacancies at the UK's top employers falling by 12.3%, a massive dip when compared to recent years. There hasn't been a dip this big since the recession in 2008. Because of this, the graduate market will see increased competition from graduates applying to roles, making it harder to get a job at the minute. However, as the world returns to normal, the market will once again stabilise, and this can be seen in the graph as a 2.5% increase in graduate vacancies at the UK's top firms, which is a step in the right direction. Francis Trout lists the best traits for a strong job candidate, which can be seen listed, the first of which is communication, from face-to-face to even over social media. Considering the impact of the pandemic on workers, internet communication became crucial, and as did the application of IT, which is another key skill. For me, these are the two most important and will take number one priority for employers. I've found 3 examples of graduate jobs. All of these listed require at least a 2-1 and 3 A's at A-level. This shows that the job market is more competitive with higher requirements, and it will be more challenging for graduates to be employed by these companies. I carried out self-assessments to gain an idea of my strengths and weaknesses. The Johari window gave me an idea of how others perceive me in comparison with how I perceive myself. I also completed the Myers-Briggs Human Metrics test, which revealed I was an extroverted person, which I agree with as I'm usually quite outgoing. The General Graduate Competencies test was a series of questions used to determine whether I was a good, bad or okay with a range of traits employers will be looking for. Managing conflict, leadership and confidence are all traits with room for improvement. Using these results, I compiled a SWOT analysis of myself. I determined my biggest strengths to be my problem solving and communication skills, while my biggest weaknesses were, in my opinion, my confidence and teamwork. Opportunities for myself include things like networking at uni or a potential placement in the future, while my biggest threats at the moment are definitely the COVID-19 pandemic's potential long-term and short-term impacts, along with social media and technology being 2 large distractions. Comparing my SWOT analysis to the ideal candidate, I assessed the 4 most important traits to be my organisational skills, which will ensure I conduct myself in a professional manner, always getting work done in the correct time frame, along with teamwork and how well I can work in a group and be a balanced member. The third objective is confidence, which can aid in public speaking when presenting, and finally leadership, which will determine my ability to lead and have others follow. This is done to analyse the gap between how I am right now as a potential job candidate and the ideal employee. Alongside this is my personal development plan, which was created using both my gap analysis and my self-assessments. It looks at each of my objectives and details how I will measure my success in each of my goals. My first objective was to improve my time management. I've always struggled with deadlines and getting work done on time, so it was important that I prioritise this goal for the future. I started by creating a timetable detailing my recurring activities each week to get into a rhythm of doing things. I managed to stick to it pretty well, especially with going to the gym. Regarding my uni work, I would sometimes do more or less than was in the timetable, but I managed to overall to stick to it pretty well. By developing a regular pattern, it became more natural doing these tasks, allowing me to get everything I needed to do completed and staying organised throughout May and June. Additionally, I started creating to-do lists when I had a busy day ahead of me, or I just had a lot of stuff to do in the day. This allowed me to visualise what I needed to do and one by one get everything done. It was satisfying at the end of a long day, knowing I'd done everything I needed to do and could relax after a productive day. By ensuring I was up by 9 AM every weekday with recurring alarms and sticking to my timetable and to-do list, I increased my time management and organisational skills, also reducing the amount of time spent on unnecessary distractions like gaming and YouTube in the process. My next objective was to focus on my ability to work in a team. When I set these objectives, I had never been in a real job outside of retail and never really experienced real teamwork outside of school. When doing group work, I've always been known not to contribute enough and pull my weight, usually due to a mixture of both confidence and motivational issues. To do this outside of an academic setting, I would need a job, and was employed by a logistics company near where I live, who were undergoing a large project, the stripping of a chain of department stores across the UK. Working under a tight time frame and a limited number of staff We all had to work flat out for 5 straight days from early till late. This taught me the value of being a good team member, as no one was allowed to fall behind and not pull their weight. This would mean more hours for everyone else in the long run, and everyone else would just end up getting annoyed. This showed me how important it is to work as hard as you can with a group mentality, as this job could have easily have taken much longer if everyone wasn't giving 100 and working their hardest. Similarly, another more recent job which required teamwork was creating a freezer showroom for the refrigeration side of the business. Over a course of a week or so, 4 of us worked non-stop on a showroom. If we hadn't shared the workload evenly, it would have taken us much longer to do. This improved my team working ability in these cases, as I was able to do my part and ensure I wasn't lacking behind. It also benefited my ability to work in a team by showing me the benefits, the main one being getting the job done but quicker, but also learning from my co-workers, constantly improving my own ability. I also participated fully in a group business simulation, in which case the business performed very well. I looked back on this experience using the Gibbs reflective cycle. This gave me an opportunity to review my time at this job so far, also looking at the positives and negatives in relation to my team working ability. Since the pandemic started, with constantly being inside for so long, my confidence has definitely taken a hit. I stopped going to the gym altogether and mostly would just sit in my room playing on games consoles. Confidence is seen as a key trait for employers and is incredibly important for the interview process. To reduce anxiety and raise my confidence back up, I did 2 things. Firstly, I acquired a new job, as mentioned previously. By talking to and meeting a wide range of new people, naturally my anxiety decreased over time. The past few months leading to better confidence levels as a result. Similarly, I reacquired my gym membership. Exercising in public was something I was anxious about following lockdown, but since I was doing mostly nothing for a month or so, I thought it best to overcome this and start again. Since doing these things and getting myself back outside and talking to people and being in public, my confidence has benefited greatly, reducing my anxiety in the process. The final objective of my personal development plan was to work on my leadership skills. This wasn't something easily done due to the fact that most of the people I work with at my job are many years older than me and much more experienced. I did, however, read a couple of books on leadership from the library, one of which was Brilliant Employability Skills by Francis Trout. This contained a very informative section on leadership and how to be a better all-round leader, with another book about leadership styles by Tony Kipperberger. As well as this, for another of my modules, we worked in a group to run a simulation of a car company. By taking the reins and taking contributions from everyone, by the end of the project, our company was making huge profits. I then revised my gap analysis made earlier in the year. I found that despite my best efforts, there was still room for improvement on all 4 of these objectives, and therefore a gap compared to where I am now and where I want to be in the future. The largest of these gaps is definitely with my confidence, and in particular public speech. I avoid this at all costs and have not yet had the opportunity to try it in the future. I hope to work on this and in the long run be able to do it with relative ease. Similarly, I don't feel I particularly had much of a chance to work on leadership. Other than the group simulation, there has been no real opportunity for me to lead, and for this reason it has remained in the gap analysis. And the same goes for organisation and teamwork, all of which have been improved, but there's still a gap before I can master each trait. My newly revised personal development plan strives for perfection in each of my objectives. With organisation, I will strive to stick to my timetable each day without fail. To do this, I will upload my timetable to Apple calendars and set reminders in conjunction with 9 AM alarms each day. And for my teamwork objective, I will strive to be the perfect team member, always carrying my weight and helping others along the way. For confidence, I wish to master public speaking, to do which will need lots of practice, and for leadership, I can practice this when working on group assignments. Overall, I feel I've performed well trying to achieve my objectives, and with a small amount of work over the next few months, I feel like I can definitely improve my skills portfolio as a potential employee and be more competitive in the graduate market when the time comes.